Hey y'all, it's Val with Our Forever Farm. So today we're making Vicki's sour cream pound cake. If you don't know who Vicki is, she's my best friend. I lost her in 2019. This is the best pound cake you will ever make. I'm telling you, it's delicious. We make it all the time. I've made 3 so far. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving and I haven't done one for Thanksgiving Day. So I want to do this where I can freeze it. It's a few days early. I want to freeze it after I bake it, and then all I have to do that morning is take it out, put it on the cake plate, and it's ready to go. And that's what we're doing right now is Thanksgiving dishes. And I love planning ahead, and I love freezing. The kids say I'm the freezer queen. So what we're doing is we're taking 3 cups of all-purpose flour. This is an easy cake to make. If you've never made a pound cake, you need to try this one. I'm telling you, it's so good. And it's just delicious. So 3 cups of all-purpose. I'm splattering flour everywhere. 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt. And we're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, but baking soda. And I'm just guessing at that, maybe a little bit more. Now we're just gonna set this aside. So we're gonna take 1 cup of butter, and I use unsalted butter. You can use salted butter if you'd like, but this is what I had. And I use real butter. I'm not sure if you have to use real butter, but it's just all I've ever done because that's the way Vicki showed me. So it's a cool, windy day today. We just had a rain come through, and it rained all day yesterday and all night last night, and I think a cold front's coming through, and you might hear the wind because it's just whizzing through. It's just unbelievable, but I think the temperature's gonna drop. So I put a pot of homemade beef vegetable soup on the stove and made some cornbread. So as soon as we get through this cake, that's what me and Sweet Hunter's gonna eat today. And I'm gonna add 3 cups of sugar. Trying to do this where y'all can see it. It's kind of awkward here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cream the butter and sugar together, and we're going to cream it till it's light and fluffy. It doesn't take long. So in case I didn't mention it, your butter needs to be softened. I let mine just sit out on the counter this morning, but if you didn't do that and you want to make this cake real quick, just stick your sticks of butter in the microwave for about 10 seconds or so, and it will soften it enough to cream with this sugar. So far, we did 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. We added 3 cups of sugar, and we've beaten this until it's light and fluffy. Now we're gonna let our mixer run, and we're gonna add 1 egg at a time, beating in between a pretty, few seconds. We don't wanna rush it. We want it to beat that egg good. So I won't be talking during this, I'll be cracking eggs. We've got our butter, our sugar, and our eggs in this mixing bowl, and we've creamed them all together slowly. Vicki told me that, and it says on her recipe, that your total beat time is about 10 minutes. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a teaspoon of almond flavor. I really like almond flavor, and I let it pour over just a little bit. And we're gonna add that to our mixture. And we're gonna add, this is my homemade vanilla, y'all. So I wanna stir it up good. I just filled this up. That's my last jar, so I poured it out in there. It's still got beans in it, vanilla beans. And I've got a video on that if you wanna watch it. I'll also be making it probably in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because it takes, everybody says it takes just a few weeks. I'm sorry. To fully get the benefit of it, it's took mine about a year to even 2 years. The longer, the better. So now I'm gonna add my vanilla. I did mine in vodka. And we're gonna mix it well. Even though this doesn't have the flour in it yet, we're gonna scrape down the sides because I see like an egg yolk. And you may wonder why I crack my eggs in a different container. And I try to do that all the time, because if you get an egg and you crack it and you get shell in it, you don't want it in there. So that just makes it easier. Plus, I like to count my eggs, and I like to put exactly how many eggshells in my bowl that I need, where I won't get confused on that. So I just scrape the sides down. So we've got our sugar, our butter, our eggs, our vanilla flavoring, almond flavor, and please don't leave the almond flavor out. It is what makes this cake to me. And we're just gonna mix it up really good. Again, your total beat time is about 10 minutes. And that's before your flour gets in. Okay, we don't lack much at all. My brother-in-law loves this cake. He used to love when Vicki made it. My son-in-laws both love this cake. I think my whole family loves this cake. We all love this cake. Me and Stacy, Vicki's niece, we both make this cake very often. It's just delicious. It's a great cake for Thanksgiving, y'all, I'm telling you. So now what we're gonna do, I've preheated my oven to 325. Make sure and do that. My oven was already hot because I just cooked cornbread, so I turned it down to 325. All we have is our flour mixture that we set aside and a cup of sour cream. And we're gonna add this alternately, and I do half the sour cream, and then I just pour in half the flour. And then you want to put your mixer on very low, or stir it up, and that might be a smart thing to do. Just stir your flour in where it won't splatter all over the counter and lose some of your flour. So just mix it in there really good. And then I'm going to turn my mixer on. Now what I'm going to do is stop my mixer. I'm going to pop it up. I'm going to take my spatula and get some of this off. But mainly I want to scrape my sides down because it has flour on the sides. And you need all that flour. Now we're going to add the rest of our sour cream. So that's another half cup or so of sour cream. And I want to get all that goodness. And the rest of my flour. And y'all, we're about finished. The only reason I'm stirring it up is so it won't splatter out on my counter like it is right now. Scrape all that off. And then I want to turn my mixer back on and mix it up till it's very smooth. So now we want to scrape the sides again. And mix it some more. We're using the tube pan. There's two parts to this. So I have sprayed this. I take it apart and I spray the bottom and everything. Now I'm going to the sink and I'm going to spray this part. I've had people ask me if you could use a bundt cake pan. I have never done that. I've never tried it. We use typically a pound cake is in a tube pan. So this is ready for our batter. Always need a towel to wipe your hands off because you will get cake on you. And then we're going to take this out, and I always try to stir it on the very bottom just to make sure it's really, really stirred in good. You don't want flour showing up, and I don't think it will as much as we did. But we're just going to pour it in the tube pan. And I just take it around. If you get some on it, it's fine. It's not going to hurt a thing. And Sweet Hunter gets that too. Now you can see I got some on the top of this. If that bothers you on the tube, get you a paper towel, wipe it off, just make sure and spray that again. Take my spatula and just twirl this around a little bit. And then I take it and do that just to get any air out. And then I'm gonna go put this in the oven. Remember, our oven was preheated to 325, so it was already ready for the cake. I always place a cookie sheet in the bottom of my oven, basically for everything I do, because I don't want to clean up a mess. But just in case it does spill out of the bottom. I have had that happen with an older pan before. I also was having trouble with my cake sticking for a long time when I realized that the cake pan I was using was my mom's, and it was like 40 years old. So I bought a new cake pan, and that did the trick right there. So we're gonna let this cook 60 to 70 minutes, and I'll show you how it looks when it comes out of the oven. You're gonna love this. So the timer went off. I set it at 60 minutes exactly. And I also wanted to tell you about 10 minutes, about 50 minutes into it, I checked to see if it's brown. Oops. I checked to see if it's brown. And if it is, I put foil over the top. like that. So, if I want to check and see if it's ready in 60 minutes, what I do is just take a fork, stick it in it. If it comes out dry, it's ready. Usually I have to give it about 5 more minutes. So we'll just wait, be back in 5 minutes. Okay, it's been about 5 more minutes. We're gonna check it now. I just looked out the window. The wind is blowing like crazy, and I went out there a few minutes ago. It's getting cold here. But about 3 or 4 of my chickens are out. I don't know how they got out, so I've got to go put them up in a minute. We got to get this cake out first. So again, I'm just gonna take the fork, put it in there, and see if it looks dry. And it's as dry as I want it. This is a moist cake. So let me take it out. And it will cook a few minutes in the pan. Isn't that beautiful? That's just beautiful. So I've got a rack set up here. So what I'm gonna do is set it here. I let it set in the pan for about 10 minutes. And then I come and take it out of the pan. It doesn't take long at all. But as I was saying, this is a moist cake. It does continue cooking while it's sitting in the pan, so you don't want it very dry when you get it out of the oven, but you don't want your fork wet. This is a delicious, easy cake, a great cake for Thanksgiving. Okay, it's time to get this out of the pan. So we're just gonna turn this upside down. See how easy that came out? Pretty warm. And then I just flip it over on my rack. And there you go. Isn't that beautiful? That's so beautiful. So this is gonna cool on the rack, and it'll probably cool for 2 or 3 hours. And when it gets really, really cool, I'll wrap it up in saran wrap, then wrap it in foil and double wrap it, and it'll be ready for the freezer. And then on Thanksgiving morning, I'll just take it out and be ready for Thanksgiving. That's one dessert I don't have to make. And that's the whole point of our videos. Me and my girls are showing you some things that we make ahead, some things that you can do too. And if you haven't saw my daughter Miranda and her strawberry shortcake video, and my daughter Mandy with her sweet potato casserole, please go watch it. I bet this video today, as quiet as my house is, and me by myself, I'm sure it was a boring video, but I guarantee you can make a good sour cream pound cake. We make it all the time. It's a go-to, it's a great gift. Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays, it's just wonderful. So, hope y'all enjoyed it. Let's take a look at it one more time. It is just beautiful, and it's as delicious as it is beautiful. Thank you for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. Y'all go cook something.